So yes, Georgetown has a lot of stuff going on. There's tons of growth happening. Oh, Albie wants to come in and say hello. And there's a lot of industry going on, but is it the right place for you to move? We're gonna talk about some reasons you definitely do not want to move to Georgetown. So like a lot of places in Austin, absolutely do not move to Georgetown if you don't want to be in a city that is experiencing a lot of growth. And I mean that sincerely. Like if you want to live in a quieter, sleepy town, Georgetown is not going to be the best place for you. Georgetown is growing by leaps and bounds, but it's different from the growth that's happening in Leander or Cedar Park. Check out some of my other videos that I put up about the growth and everything that's happening there. What's going on in Georgetown is not necessarily retail growth or a single family home growth. It's more growth in the industrial sector. There is a lot of opportunity for industrial, manufacturing, those kind of industries in Georgetown, and that's what a lot of the growth is happening here, which is totally different from what's going on in Leander. Real quick, before we get too far into the video, I realized I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Tiffany Moore. I'm a realtor right here in Austin, Texas. If you have any questions about moving here, buying a home here, I'm happy to help. All my info is in the description, so you can find it there. All right, back to the video. This is really what's attracting high quality jobs to Georgetown. The target for the industrial sector in Georgetown is due mainly because of its location along the interstate. It's really easy to ship things in and out of the area. Manufacturing is a lot more simple and streamlined that way. And there are a few developments going in right now that are taking advantage of all that. So the first development called North Park 35, it's 110 acres and it's focusing on manufacturing and distributing. Gateway 36 is an 85-acre business park that's also going to be focusing more on industrial versus the business to consumer side. And there is a 12-acre flex and industrial space complex that's already under construction and is set to open the first phase in the first quarter of 2022. This is going to be 2 buildings totaling 116,000 square feet. It's going to be across the street from the Georgetown Municipal Airport. It's going to give space to big operations that are moving into town and need a lot of area for their industrial, their manufacturing, their distribution, all that good stuff. And they're also trying to attract companies that can piggyback or work alongside and adjacent to other major corporations that are setting up here, setting up their headquarters or expanding here, like Apple and Tesla and Samsung. I've talked to a few folks who work for providers or suppliers to those companies who are trying to figure out, does it make sense for them to move down to the Austin area right now? Or should we wait until things change a little bit? So industrial companies are definitely setting up shop, preparing for everything in the industry surrounding companies like Apple, Tesla, and Samsung to make sure that we can support that business infrastructure here around Austin. And Georgetown is the main place that this is happening. So if you're looking to live in like a busy metropolitan area where you can walk to your coffee shop and walk around the corner and go to your friend's house or go to the grocery store, Georgetown is not for you. Georgetown is more spread out than pretty much anywhere else in the Austin area and has much lower population density than anywhere in Austin. So if you're looking for a more densely packed area or somewhere where you don't have to drive everywhere, pretty much nowhere in Austin is going to be that case unless you're moving to downtown, but especially Georgetown. So Georgetown has the lowest population density of any city in the area. So right now it has about 1,600 people per square mile. We're going to compare that to some of the other suburbs and then the city of Austin. So Leander has about 2,000 people per square mile. Austin has 3,200 people per square mile. This was really surprising for me. Round Rock is the highest at about 4,000 people per square mile. And Cedar Park is just about the same as Austin. Cedar Park is 3,300 people per square mile and Austin has 3,200. I would have thought Austin, especially downtown Austin, would have been much higher population density, but turns out it is Round Rock that has the most people per square mile. But for sure, like no matter what, Georgetown is by far the least. They only have about 1,600 people per square mile, which is half that of Austin. So if you are looking to be very close to your neighbors, if you want to be super close, like I said, and walk and bike to the grocery stores, the coffee shops and things like that, Georgetown is not going to be your jam. You're definitely going to have to drive everywhere. You're going to have to drive like 5 to 10 minutes just to get out of your neighborhood in Georgetown and then drive to H-E-B, Costco, and all those places. So population density is what you want. Georgetown is not going to be the place for you. There is a lot of new construction going on right now in Georgetown for single family homes. Some big, beautiful neighborhoods that have got like rolling hills and established trees, things like that. One of my favorites is Rancho Siena. Some of my friends' parents live in that neighborhood as well, and they love it actually because they came from like big city New Jersey area where the population was so dense. They didn't have backyards and places to have barbecue and could go hang out with their neighbors. And so now they live in this awesome like new construction neighborhood where they have, you know, a really good sized backyard and their neighbors are next door and they go and have block parties and things like that. So again, like if you're looking for more space, Georgetown is definitely the place for that. But if you are looking for like big city, close-knit quarters, this is not going to be the place for you. So there's lots of new construction going on with beautiful neighborhoods. I mentioned Rancho Siena. I love it just because of the rolling hills and the trees. Also, their amenities are awesome. They've got a really pretty pool. They've got dog parks and trails and things like that. A lot of the new construction areas are really trying to make their community somewhere that you want to be and hang out, not just somewhere where you come home and sleep. So they're trying to build events where you can kind of get to know your neighbors and really have a community vibe versus just, you know, I live here in this one house and I don't talk to my neighbors at all. There is also a lot of multifamily construction going on. So if you've seen any of my other videos about Georgetown, I've mentioned Wolf Lakes Village. This is going to be a really awesome development, totally old world architecture style, old European cobblestone streets and buildings and things like that, that should remind you of like villages in Italy and Croatia. That's the vision from the family that the land and the development and everything is going on, the family that's creating everything. So they really wanted something different and unique, but something to keep in mind is that we are building more multifamily residences in Georgetown, Leander, and those areas. It is going to be more dense in those developments and those facilities. So I do anticipate the population per square mile to be increasing over the next few years as we get more multifamily developments in versus the single family homes like I mentioned in Rancho Siena. Okay, third reason not to move to Georgetown. If you want to live in an echo chamber, do not move to Georgetown. I think the general thought right now is that Georgetown is pretty red. It's a pretty red area of Austin. It's pretty Republican and conservative. But the reality is that it's actually pretty diverse. And I know this from like anecdotal observations as well as polling history. So recently, you know, I've been exploring Georgetown a lot more. I've been shooting more videos out there and showing clients homes and stuff. One thing that I really noticed and that surprised me in the last election, which was just under a year ago, was that I saw just as many Trump signs in yards as I saw Biden signs. I saw just as many signs on one side as you would see on the other. And I really thought it was more of a conservative, Republican, red-leaning community, but it's actually pretty purple. So more so than Austin. Like Austin is pretty blue. Austin is pretty liberal. It leads more in that direction. It's like the blue center in a sea of red. Georgetown is pretty purple. So no matter what your viewpoint is, if you lean left or right, red or blue, you're going to be met with people of opposing opinions and opposing backgrounds and heritages and ethnicities and things like that. So no matter what your stance is or what your thoughts are, you're not going to be able to live in an echo chamber if you move to Georgetown. So if that's what you're looking for is just people who are 100% of the same, you know, thoughts, thinking and feeling, Georgetown is not going to be the place for you. If you are looking for something more diverse and you're open to discussions with other people or even just are okay with other people having different opinions, Georgetown is definitely a place to check out. But if that's not your jam and you just don't want to discuss anything like that at all, then, you know, don't move to Georgetown. It's not going to be homogenous or 100% of the people thinking one way or another, whatever viewpoint you have. It's pretty diverse. So also don't move to Georgetown if you want to live somewhere that has zero potential for natural disasters. So we don't have volcanoes or earthquakes or hurricanes. We did have a pretty significant snowpocalypse this year, which wasn't necessarily a result of the weather. It was more the issues that the weather caused to the electrical grid, which is a whole nother topic to discuss. But basically, like, it does snow in Texas. It does snow in Georgetown. You may get 1 or 2 snows a year. It's usually not that bad. As long as our infrastructure is in place, then it'll be fine. But it is something to be aware of, is that we're not living in an area that's totally free from, you know, the risk of natural disasters. So the snow apocalypse is a minor risk. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But another risk that's actually pretty real is tornadoes. So the US as a whole has a tornado index of 136. Texas's tornado index is 208, and Georgetown's is about 220. So a little bit higher than the rest of Texas. Austin's tornado index is about 224, so they're pretty consistent. I would say they're about the same. So it is something that you need to be aware of, is that up in Georgetown, just the way that the land lays, there is a higher risk for tornadoes there. Not nearly as high as Dallas. So when I talk to people about natural disasters and they ask me about tornadoes, I usually tell them you don't have to worry about that unless you're living like in the Dallas area. So Dallas's tornado index is 335. They have like tornado sirens and bunkers. They have like 158 tornado sirens just in the city of Dallas. So it is a much more significant issue there than it is in Austin or in Georgetown. But Georgetown's risk is higher than the general risk in Texas. So that is something that we need to be aware of. We don't have basements in Texas, so there's no like going down to your bunker and hunkering down for the tornado, but there's really not that much of a risk. So what I've always learned growing up, and maybe there's some updated studies about this, but like staying in a door, I think that's earthquakes, right? That's not tornadoes. Tornadoes is get in the bathtub? I don't know. I think I'm confusing hurricanes and earthquakes and tornadoes. So for hurricanes, it was get in the bathtub and get somewhere where like you could just be safe from things flying around you. Maybe it's the same for tornadoes, who knows? Another reason that you would not want to move to Georgetown is if you just couldn't care less about good food, entertainment, things like that. Georgetown sounds like kind of a sleepy bedroom community, a quiet town, but I hope that you've learned in this video and my other Georgetown videos that is absolutely not the case. Georgetown is a really cool place to live, and they do have some really good food options. So one of the best places in Georgetown is called El Monumento. I sometimes get it confused with the Monument Cafe, which is more like American classic home food. I think it was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And El Monumento is more like upscale interior Mexican food. So completely different, but the names are very similar. I don't understand why they're pretty much the same, but they are. So El Monumento is like a 7,700 square foot restaurant. They have a beautiful patio that's overlooking the Blue Hole Lagoon. It's gorgeous out there. When the weather is nice, it's perfect to just go sit and have a margarita and some chips and salsa. One thing that you should know about Austin is that we like a lot of things spicy. We even like our drinks spicy. I love a spicy margarita, and right now in Austin, in the Southwest, everywhere, it's Hatch chili season. So if you don't know anything about Hatch chilies, it's kind of like how pumpkin spice lattes and cornbread and muffins and everything is like all the rage right now in the rest of the country. Hatch green chilies is like our pumpkin spice lattes. They are just everywhere, and the season is amazing. So El Monumento is doing a Hatch green chili margarita for the season, and they also have a Mexican chocolate brownie a la mode. So we like spicy margaritas. We also like spicy hot chocolate. This is one of my favorite drinks for fall and winter. It's much less sweet than your regular hot chocolate, so it's not like Swiss Miss. It's much more like earthy and roasty and almost coffee-like, more like if you drink stout beer, it's kind of along those lines. And then we add cinnamon and cayenne to it. So it's earthy, it's roasty, it's a little bit sweet, and then you get that kick of cayenne. So anyway, think about this hot chocolate as a brownie. El Monumento is doing a Mexican hot chocolate brownie a la mode for the season as well. So I'm just saying, like, it's a really awesome restaurant, a beautiful view. If you don't want to move anywhere that gives a shit about food or has awesome entertaining or anything like that, then don't move to Georgetown. Like, save your money and move somewhere else, because even though Georgetown is more affordable than Austin, it's still not cheap. Like, nowhere Austin is cheap right now. So again, like if you're looking for somewhere that is a more dense population, or you don't really care about food, or you don't want to be anywhere where there's a lot of growth going on, like Georgetown is not going to be the city for you. You're not going to enjoy it.